Forgotten by Design, Part 21B, Scraps of Evidence at the Military Base. Bright overhead lights illuminated the expansive floor of Warehouse C-17, casting stark shadows over the mangled pieces of the ambassador ship's wreckage. The quiet hum of machinery was interrupted by sporadic beeping, signaling new discoveries or test results from the myriad of instruments set up around the area. Commander Rhea, her usually immaculate uniform now smudged with dirt, carefully examined a shard of metal, turning it over in her gloved hand. "This isn't a standard explosive residue," she muttered, eyes narrowing. "This is something different." Lieutenant Draven, hunched over a console, looked up at her words. "Different how?" he asked. He'd been cataloging the various fragments, trying to create a digital reconstruction of the ship pre-explosion. "Non-standard. Not something we've seen before, at least not in the known Federation database," Rhea explained, joining him at the console. She placed the shard under a scanner and a magnified image appeared on the screen, showcasing the irregular patterns and discolored markings. Draven frowned. Could it be from outside the Federation? "It's possible, but right now, what concerns me more is the bioweapon," Rhea admitted. "We've got no traces of it. The void of space has done a thorough cleanup job." She sighed heavily, staring at the readouts that were proving fruitless. In another section of the warehouse, teams worked meticulously, processing each fragment, testing residues, and analyzing burn patterns. Their initial hope of finding a residue from the bioweapon was fading with each passing hour. Draven rubbed his temples, fatigue evident in his eyes. "We've been at this for hours, and we're no closer to identifying the explosive or the bioagent. It's like chasing phantoms." Rhea nodded in agreement. "But we can't give up. The Council is expecting answers, and we owe it to everyone on that ship to find out what happened." The duo returned to their search with renewed determination. Hours seemed to blend into one another. The repetitive nature of their tasks occasionally gave way to moments of excitement, like when they identified a section of the bomb's casement. But those moments were fleeting. "We've got something," one of the technicians called out, drawing their attention. Rushing over, Rhea and Draven observed as the technician held up a small vial containing a faintly glowing substance. "It's a tiny amount, but I believe this might be a residue sample from the bioweapon." Rhea's eyes lit up. "Run every test. We need to identify this." Draven looked on, a mix of hope and anxiety in his eyes. Even if it's just a tiny amount, it could be the breakthrough we need. The hours that followed were a flurry of activity. Tests were run, and the data was cross-referenced with the Federation's database. The explosive from the bomb was eventually identified as a rare compound used decades ago, but had since been phased out. It was peculiar for it to be used in a recent attack. However, the bioweapon residue remained elusive. The minute sample they had was unlike anything they'd seen before. It was volatile, complex, and defied all standard categorizations. As the day turned into night, Rhea and Draven sat in a makeshift office in the warehouse, staring at the data in front of them. They had some answers, but many more questions remained. "This is bigger than we thought," Draven whispered, leaning back in his chair. Rhea nodded solemnly. "We've only scratched the surface, but we won't stop until we uncover the entire truth." The weight of their responsibility pressed down on them, but both officers were steadfast. They were on a mission, not just for answers, but for justice. Anticipation at Arcturus Star Base. The vastness of space stretched infinitely outside the large observation windows of Arcturus Star Base, but the eyes of everyone present were fixed on a singular point in the distance. The bluish hue of the lights inside the base cast a calming glow, softening the edges of technology and metallic structures, making the ambiance tranquil. The recent events had left a shadow on the delegates, but today they looked forward to new beginnings. Whispers of excitement filled the observation deck. Delegates who had spent the previous days recounting every memory, every sensation of their harrowing journey, now shared joyful anticipations. The lengthy debriefing sessions, though tedious, seemed like a distant memory in this moment of expectation. Talon stood beside Captain Nerol, the two of them observing the approaching Federation battlecruiser. Its sheer size made it look like a moving city of lights in space, its outline gleaming with a promise of strength and technological marvels. "It's magnificent," Captain Nirol whispered, his eyes not leaving the approaching cruiser. Talon nodded, a smile playing on his lips. "I've never seen anything quite like it." Commander Jor, a striking figure with her unique Federation uniform, joined them, her eyes reflecting the lights of the cruiser. "It's one of our finest creations, evidence of the Federation's progress and unity." As they watched, the soft hum of conversation around them was interrupted by Commander Drex's approach. His imposing figure cast a larger shadow, but his eyes twinkled with a mischievous glint. "Gazing at the USF Valiant, I see," he remarked, a hint of pride in his voice. Talon turned to him, curiosity evident. "USF Valiant? It has a certain ring to it." Drex nodded. "Unified Star Federation's Valiant. She's more than just a battle cruiser. She's a symbol of our unity and strength, and soon some of the Earth's brightest will get to explore her." Captain Nirol raised an eyebrow. "You're allowing Earthlings on board?" Drex smiled. "Indeed. It's part of the cultural exchange. The Federation believes in mutual growth. Those from Earth will bring a fresh perspective, and in return they will experience the epitome of our technological prowess." Commander Jor added, "Think of it as a gesture of goodwill, a promise that we stand with Earth, not against it." Talon's eyes sparkled with anticipation. The people of Earth have always been curious. Offer them a glimpse into new technology, and they'll strive to understand it, even enhance it. They'll be ecstatic about this. Drex chuckled. "That's what we're hoping for. A mutual exchange of knowledge, understanding, and perhaps technology. We're on the cusp of a new era, and Earth is a significant part of it." The conversation paused as the USF Valiant drew closer, its lights casting a mesmerizing dance on the observation deck. The docking procedure started, and the cruiser connected seamlessly with the star base, displaying precision engineering. As the delegates watched, many were lost in their thoughts, dreaming of the experiences that awaited them on Earth. Talon, in particular, imagined the potential outcomes of this venture. The joining of Earth with the Federation, the exchange of culture, knowledge, and technology held immense possibilities. Captain Nirol turned to Talon. "Do you think Earth is ready for this?" Talon gazed at the USF Valiant, its presence a beacon of hope and opportunity. "I believe so. They've faced challenges, overcome adversities. It's time for a new chapter, one of exploration and alliance." The deck slowly emptied as delegates moved on, discussing plans and speculating on the days ahead. But Talon lingered a little longer, taking in the majestic sight of the battlecruiser. It wasn't just a ship. It symbolized new beginnings, an exciting future, and the infinite possibilities that awaited in the vast expanse of space.